Who's doing the intro? I got it.
Chet's doing the intro.
I can look on
Me.
Me.
You're off key.
No, I'm not, but you can kick it.
Yeah, kiss it. Welcome to Hardheaded Podcast. I'm your host, Chet Sears, with Troy, Three-Shot Trussell, and Matt, Sandbagger Amos. We are happy to have you here. Welcome. Straight up in the middle of November, and things are going well. And we are going to talk about what's on Troy's mind. We're going to get into the top 3 U.S. battles because it is Veterans Day. That's going to be our top 3.
Right on.
And then Matt's going to close us out with a good word that he's been preparing for.
Oh, weeks.
All right. Troy, man, what's on your mind?
Before we get there, you know what I just realized?
No, I do not know what you just realized.
3 more years.
Until what?
Election day.
We're so close.
We're a quarter of the way through, boys.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's
a lot
good
of optimism.
news.
Will we make it?
Yeah, I don't know.
We will see.
A lot's happened in the first year.
All right. What's on your mind?
We'll see. Anyway, so it's not a big secret that I don't really like country music.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And I missed that episode because I was in the hospital.
Yeah.
But I did share 3 country music songs on our Facebook page.
And they made it onto our playlist that you could find on Spotify.
On Spotify. That's right.
Hard-headed podcast playlist of country music playlist. Yes.
Yeah. A bunch of our listeners
contributed their top 3 country songs.
Right.
And
So
I listened to that playlist while I was my last mow of October.
Oh, very good.
Got me through.
Very good. Yeah. So, but I have a confession to make.
You do like country music.
No.
Kane Brown's your favorite. Is that his name?
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm still not really a country music fan, but there's a couple of guys
Who are up to no good?
No. Started making trouble in my neighborhood. No. That's good. No, there's a couple of guys that are Christian music artists that I swear could be country music artists, but they're some of their music tends to sway a little southern rock that I can really dig and get into.
Who?
Rhett Walker and Zach Williams. They have a country flair.
I don't even know who these people are.
So Zach Williams does the Bones Rising song. And, what's his other famous one? Dang it. I can't think of it right now. But then
Unprepared.
Rhett look who's talking. And then Rhett Walker does gospel song. Have you heard that one?
No.
Ain't nothing like a gospel song. That song? You never heard that?
No.
Oh, come on, guys. You got to get with it.
All right. You listen to K-Love?
No, I listen to, there's an Apple playlist called Today's Christian Music. And I just put that bad boy on shuffle. And if it's a little too like gospel choir-y for me, I don't really dig those. So I just hit the button.
What was Rhett Walker's song?
Rhett Walker, gospel song. He also has another one called Believer. I can't believe y'all haven't heard these.
What's Zach Williams' song?
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be honest with you because I typically would listen to the radio to find new music. I don't know if that's really even true, but from a Christian music perspective, there's like that K-Love station that's out there, and in all honesty, I'm not a fan.
Well, I'm not either.
And I just like,
because
I listen to if I have Christian music, I listen on my just stuff I already know through iTunes. I don't have like a new, now I'll find a new album that one of the artists already follows out, and I'll pick that up. By the way, this happened. just last week. We're depending on what mood my daughter's in when I take her to school. Whether or not we listen to my preference, which would be talk radio in the morning on the way to school, or we'll pick a song for her. And then she was like in this mood where she didn't want to pick a song, but she needed a song. So I'm like, I'm going to go back in the memory bank here and go find this song from like 1997 by a band that I really liked, and found it, played it. It worked. She got in a better mood. And then while I was there in the drop-off line, I looked, and their last album they put out was like in 2003. Boom. They dropped an album, 2021.
Oh, I'm like, nice.
Dude, this has got to be awesome. It stunk. They turned to communists.
Oh, no.
And they had all these commie songs that they were singing. Like total, not anything to do with Christianity anymore. Like they were singing songs about the border wall, and they're singing songs about climate change, and they're singing songs about I'm like, this is, and I'm like, the first song I was like, there's no way. Like this is just like, maybe I'm just getting triggered here because they say, no, let me just go to the next. Oh, it's worse. Let me go to the next song. Oh my gosh. Like this is exactly what they're playing like in China right now. Like hate America. That everything was bad.
That sucks.
What's the name of the band?
5 Iron Frenzy.
Oh yeah, you turned me on to them a while ago.
Yeah. Listen to their old stuff, not their new stuff.
Got a couple of commies sitting here.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just totally
No, that's okay. And I mean that like what there's a lot of bands like hardcore metal bands in the Christian music industry that have like lead singers have renounced their faith and turned their bands into secular bands.
That's the new thing. That's the new thing.
Yeah, it's a new thing to do. I guess that's what they did. They just became commies.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But what's to contrast that, there are people in the secular world that are coming to know Christ and going out on their own and then going back to their bands and like, preaching the gospel, behind, backstage to VIP people that, it's just,
that's cool.
It's kind of a good contrast there.
Did you find that song that you?
Yeah. So Zach Williams does Chain Breaker. There Was Jesus, Fear Is a Liar, Old Church Choir. These are some of his,
those. I've heard those.
Yeah, those are some of his old ones. The Bones Will Rise, man. I can't find that one. Maybe it's not Zach Williams. I don't know, but it's a great song. It's basically about God uses the bones to rise up. Is that to create that army in the Old Testament?
Yeah, there's
it's about that. Yeah, but anyway, so I listen to Christian music probably about 85% of the time, and I use my iTunes app because I got to be able to pick it. I'm with you. I don't like secular radio either because they play the same daggum songs over and over all week long.
Yeah, at least you can change the station though. Like, and because there's like a decades worth of stuff, different decades worth of stuff that you could kind of bounce around. But man, you get on Christian radio, it's the same song, even if it's a different Christian radio station. Like, come on, like, and a lot of it stinks.
Yeah, well, and when Air One first came out, they were like
good.
They were playing like Disciple and some hard rock stuff, and then they got soft. I'm like, what? Why'd you get soft?
And then they're like, oh, we don't do commercial breaks because we're like dedicated to music. No, you're just dedicated to talking all the time.
Oh, and then you have, man, we're railing on some Kayla. That's okay. But then you have like the week or 2 weeks where they're raising money.
Oh, no.
I can't do it, dude.
Nope.
I can't do it. But we're railing on them, but they do good. There's a lot of testimonies of, hey, I was listening to this. I was in a dark place, yada, yada. Good stories come out of that. People's hearts are changed. So I don't listen to them, but I'm glad they're out there so that other people can.
They just don't play your flavor.
Exactly. And that's okay.
There ain't nothing wrong with that.
They don't have to. Yeah.
What were your top 3 country songs?
Where the Sidewalk Ends, George Strait.
Yeah.
Make You Break Your Heart.
No.
Watermelon Crawl.
No, you're making me forget now. Friends in Low Places.
Yeah.
Garth Brooks.
That's not on the playlist because he doesn't release his stuff to stream.
Right. And then If That Ain't Country, David Allan Coe.
Yeah.
Because he says it in the song. This is the best country song ever. His friend tells him, if you add these 4 things.
No. That's not the same song.
Yeah, it is.
No. I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
What's her name? Jamie? Jamie's got to look all this stuff up.
I think you're talking Hank Williams.
Yeah.
Is it the one
anyway,
I was drunk the day my mom got out of prison?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's not David Allan Coe, is it?
I think that's Hank Williams, right?
No.
Or Junior?
Dude, I looked it up. I used to have the album. I know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
So anyway, while he's looking it up, let me tell you a little story. Back in...
That ain't the song.
Oh. Dang it, it's not the song.
I told you it wasn't.
All right. Well, look up my Facebook post. Maybe that's not the number one I put.
Who was it?
It was still
David Allan Coe. If that ain't country, I'll kiss your... That's not the song.
Oh, I thought you were looking up the other one.
I was proving him wrong.
So he proved me wrong.
Okay.
Now look up the song that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because maybe I just wrote the wrong song or...
You never called me by my name. That's David Allan Coe.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the one. I think that's the one I put on the Facebook post.
No, I'm pretty sure you put that if that ain't country. And then I didn't add it to the playlist because all the foul language.
David Allan Coe was known for that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so music. I listen to music a lot, and I just want to share a quick story. Back in 2008, when I decided to follow Christ, about 2 weeks into that, I kept having a struggle with the music I was listening to because I've always been a metalhead, grunge, hard rock guy, and I didn't want to really give that up. And so I kept, gut feeling, voice in my head, telling me, hey, just give this up. It's not, you don't need it anymore. And I really fought that for about 2 weeks. And then I couldn't get it out of my head. So I gave my whole, this was a collection
CD.
I idolized it, have been collecting these things since I could buy CDs, 10 or 12.
Mm-hmm.
And so I finally was like, yeah, I got to get rid of this. I don't know why. So I gave him to my roommate, best friend, and he's like, "Are you kidding me, dude? This is like part of you."
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, man, I got to give this up. I feel like it's the right thing to do." So I gave it to him. And then about 2 weeks later, a door was open and I met this guy at my church and he was like, "Hey, I do this podcast." And it was a Christian metal podcast. How he called up Christian metal bands and interviewed them and, was trying to get the word out about, hey, there is this industry out there that's metal and they're, singing about good things, And so I was introduced into that because the whole time I'm thinking Christian music sucks, right? I grew up listening.
Mainstream.
My mom giving me Petra albums and...
Don't you say they suck?
Dude, their music was horrible.
That's not that bad.
Oh, man.
They're ballads.
Petra and White Cross.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh, that music's so bad.
What?
And then Carmen and all those people.
They were... I'm addicted to Jesus.
A2J.
I mean, the only... Oh, that's so good. But, I mean...
I'm getting down with the DC talk.
Now, DC talk... I could handle some DC talk.
The 1980s version of DC
even
talk?
the 1980s version.
Okay.
I mean, they were still... it's still 80s music, but it was pretty good. I could handle
it. See,
it.
that was the metal of the 80s was White Cross because they still had that kind of hair metal.
Striper.
That's what I wanted to say Slayer, but that's the secular
Striper
version.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but after that, well, even before I met the podcast, my friend Wayne... 2 weeks without all that music, I could just see a difference in myself because whether or not things have influence in our lives on us, what we're listening to, what we're watching, things that are going in or coming out or they're staying in and we're thinking about it.
Right.
That's biblical, sir.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So once I got rid of the music, yeah, I was just like a different person because those certain songs would trigger things in my past. And, you know, when you come to know Christ, your old self, that dude's dead. You know, you need to let that guy go.
Right.
And you're a new creation in Christ. And so once I gave that up, it was just a big weight lifted off my shoulders. And then God introduced me to, hey, there's some music of your taste that you can go out and listen to and create new memories with it, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good.
That's cool. We ought to make that a top 3 one time. Top 3 Christian metal bands. And Troy would be the only one that had anything to contribute.
Yes.
No, I think Skillet.
Skill's good. I've actually seen them a couple times in concert. Pretty good.
They came through Wichita in October.
Yeah. Well, they came through 2009. They came through Tyler, and I drove there and filmed Deciphered Down was opening for them, and I filmed them for my buddy's metal podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
My kids are big Skillet fans.
Got to go backstage, and then Skillet performed, and the drummer was like on a Tommy Lee drummer thing, and she was like, she didn't spin all the way around like he did, but she was like moving, and they had a violinist on each side that were on lifts and stuff. They put on a pretty good show, and there was one dude in the audience snuck in an iron skillet and held it up, and you know, the lead singer was like, man, that's awesome. He's got a skillet in here. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
That's what's on your mind. All right. Let's take a break and we'll.
Man, I had so much more.
What?
No, we're
so much more. What?
Audio Adrenaline.
They're not metal.
Yeah. You know the story behind the lead singer?
No.
Lost his voice and just quit the band. Like, and he'll say like, I think it was from the Lord, and it moved him into something else that he wanted to do.
Yeah, and then
or that God wanted him to do.
Then one of the Michael Tate from DC Talk went over there
to Audio Adrenaline.
Yeah,
for a little while.
No, still now.
No.
Yep. And then
was it Audio Adrenaline he went to,
or the Newsboys?
He went to Newsboys.
The other guy went to Audio Adrenaline. DC Talk. The 3 guys, like you still have Toby Mac, but the other 2 went to 2 different already established bands.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tate,
it is Newsboys.
Tate went to Newsboys. The other guy.
That was probably
Kevin something.
Yeah, it's like a.
Sorry, Kevin.
Yeah,
he was on a Babylon Bee podcast about a year ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. They were asking him all kinds of, like, what if I stumble?
What if I fall?
Yeah, they were doing. It was crazy.
What if I
those guys are
lose
funny.
Myself and
make fools of us all.
Make fools of us all.
That's awesome.
I didn't know you were so in tune to all this kind of stuff.
Man, his dad's a
I thought you were just
preacher.
listening to 107.9 Country Gold.
I do listen to quite a bit of that, but you know, I've got DC Talk on my playlist. I do like Carmen, and matter of fact, like from back in the day, I have a few of his videos because he was an entertainer.
His videos are good.
Like,
I will say that.
Like the way that he tied his songs into a sermon, into in the way that it led through an entire concert was really impressive. He just passed away this last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really enjoyed his music. But DC Talk probably was one of the
Chet.
better concerts that I've been to.
You remember that, the Champion?
Yep.
8.
Funny. Well,
we're losing our audience right now, though. I can tell you, that not everybody's digging this old conversation,
old 80s Christian music conversation.
Yep. And I wore my brother out, like my older brother, because we drove back from Texas down there at my dad's, and we were driving back here.
Yeah.
And it was White Cross, but I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the song, but he was so sick of it because I would just hit repeat. And he goes, we listened to that song for the solid 8-hour drive. And he goes, every time you go to sleep, the song would be over. You'd wake up, play it again. He goes, I couldn't wait for you to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
In the Kingdom. The name of the song.
There you go.
Yeah.
What's like How I Met Your Mother? The tape got stuck in the car. And it's 500 miles plays every time they're in the car. Love it.
But yeah, no, the DC Talk Jesus Freak. I saw them live in concert here in town when they were a big thing, and I think Audio Adrenaline actually opened for them, and that Yeah. I mean, there was some
big time.
There was some moshing going on.
Nice.
Hardcore.
Lots of forgiveness.
Are we able to take a break right now then?
I guess so.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thank you so much, Matt. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
(1783), the first victory. Victorious in war, this year sees America earn her independence. At Admiral's Pennant, we celebrate victories at the end of war. 1783 is the first of many such celebrations in our nation's history. This is an elegantly refined blend of sandalwood, cedar, and tea tree. The subtle, lingering, woody scent of the sandalwood, light cedar, and the top notes of tea tree is the essence of masculinity, honoring the men who fought and continue to fight to provide us our independence.
Check it out at admiralspennant.com. Without it, you might as well shave.
And
we're back.
We are back. So it's a little trying to build some tension.
Oh, okay.
And we're back.
Good job. Tension built.
I don't know if that's tension. That's more PBS. Matt, why don't you give us the top 3 U.S. battles? What do you have in your formerly nicotine-stained hands?
We have number 3.
All right.
Chosin Reservoir. Frozen Chosin.
The frozen Chosin. This is in the Korean War,
Yes.
right?
Yep. And
you didn't know it was in
That
the Korean
no,
War.
I had no idea. That's great.
He knows some things. It's kind of crazy. Marine battle, obviously.
Obviously, all of these are going to be Marine battles.
I mean, because they're the ones that matter. Cold. What these guys went through. I'm glad that I didn't have to go through that. They call it the Frozen Chosen for a reason, and there's a new documentary, I believe, just called The Chosen, not to be confused with
The Chosen.
the
Chosen.
TV show about Jesus.
Yes, but it is about that conflict, and it was really good. Number 2 ended up being on one of my top 3 country songs, The Battle of Belleau.
Yes.
There were so many things that came out of that battle, sayings about the Marines.
The devil dogs, right?
And that's where the term was coined. Devil dogs was because the Germans said that we fought like devil dogs, like we were possessed.
Well, we'll take that. Yeah, that is how we fight.
And so now they actually that battlefield where it was fought is actually now called I forget exactly the terminology, but it's basically like the field of the Marines, basically. Mm-hmm. And there is a memorial to that. And then if you go there, you can actually drink from the fountain, the Bulldog Fountain, and it's supposed to be, I don't know.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. And I've wanted to go because my regiment, 1st Battalion, 5th Marines, was one of the units that was there. And when you're a part of that unit, we're allowed to wear the French fourragère, which is what they gave to us in honor of that battle. And we still wear the French fourragère to this day in honor of those Marines that fought there.
Oh, cool.
So a lot of history with my unit and that battle. And I've always wanted to go. I got cheated out of it when I was in Wounded Warrior Battalion out at Camp Pendleton. For some reason, some person that had never even been deployed got to go in my spot. That wasn't even with 1-5. So anyway, I'm over that kind of.
Yeah, way over it.
That's obvious.
Yes. I am planning to go back. I think Anthony, who we've had on the podcast before, he and I are going to try to go just by ourselves and do
Oh, that'd be cool, man.
kind of do a little tour of that whole area.
Yeah.
And then number 1, probably one of the most iconic battles,
Iwo Jima.
Iwo Jima.
I guessed it right.
And just, going back to what Marines are actually for, that beach landing and assaulting a beachhead and then advancing in and destroying everything in sight. And they did that flawlessly. I mean, they crushed the crap out of the Japanese on that island. And, you know, when you look at it, and that's another place that a lot of people have gone as far as Marines, like they'll select a few people every year to go back to Iwo Jima on the kind of the memorial and tour that. And they say that volcanic ash on the beach, they had no idea. They really had no reconnaissance, like good recon on this place. And so when they got off all the gear and everything, I mean, there was no running through the beach. I mean, it was, you know, slogging through this stuff, and all that weight would push down. They couldn't even dig, you know, fighting holes because it would just fill itself back in. And so you're basically just ambushing this whole place with no real good cover. And obviously the raising of the flag on Iwo Jima. But there was 27 Medal of Honors that came out of that.
Wow.
14 of them were posthumously. And 22 of those being Marines, 5 sailors, 4 of which were corpsmen.
Yeah.
And there's one still living, and his name is Herschel Williams. And we all call him Woody. And I've met him a few times and got a few pictures with him. So, pretty honored to meet that guy. And there is I went to one dinner and there were, 4 or 5 Medal of Honor recipients from, you know, World War II and Iwo Jima. And here I am, you know, just a dude, you know, missing some legs, but, you know, with these guys who were genuine, like, heroes, you know, and went through way worse than what I ever could even imagine. Yeah. Because back then, you know, they didn't have the stuff that we have now. And
they weren't getting helicoptered out. Yeah.
I mean, the injuries that I had today, if they had back then, they were gone.
Yeah.
So, pretty amazing the advancements that we've made since then to, you know, from point of injury to being evacuated. You know, they call it the golden hour, and 45 minutes, you know, and you're in a field hospital getting treated. So expectancies are a little bit better today, but those guys were the real deal. So that's my number one.
All right.
Very good.
Good list, man. Good list. I will go next. Number 3, the battles of Lexington and Concord. Is that ringing any bells?
Yes.
Yeah.
1775. The shot heard round the world. This is when it was all serious but fun and games until we started fighting, and that's when we started fighting in the Revolutionary War. So it had to happen at some point, and that's where it did. That's where we drew the line in the sand.
Yep.
Number 2, naval battle, the Battle of Midway. Basically the turning point of the Second World War in the Pacific. We were able to take out the aircraft carrier fleet of the Japanese Navy, and if that were not to have happened, we probably would not have been able to win the war like we did. And through some fantastic strategy and faking out the code breakers, broke what the Japanese were doing, and then they were going to run around on them, and a lot of chance involved, and it all paid off. And
talking about the code talkers?
No, the code talkers weren't we were the ones using the code talkers, No, but we were intercepting Japanese communications.
Oh, I gotcha.
But we couldn't figure out what they were calling our installations. So they figured out a way to say, well, let's just say that we had all of our fuel tanks started leaking on such and such an island. And then they put that out there. And then the Japanese started talking about lack of fuel on this code for that island. So then they figured out what they were calling the islands in the area. So then they knew what the Japanese were talking about and where they were talking about. And once they figured that out, they said, hey, we're going to use that against them.
That's cool.
Number 1 actually has a song about this one too. The Battle of New Orleans. And this is the War of 1812. They actually fought is in January 8th, 1815. This is pretty awesome. I'm not going to sing the song to you.
No.
But you want to talk about a whooping. The Americans had roughly 60 casualties, and the British suffered over 2,000, including their two highest ranking members on the battlefield. They whooped them. I mean, sent them running, and a huge lopsided victory. It's kind of funny and sad. They formally ended the war on December 24th of 1814, but they hadn't communicated that to everybody yet. So this actually took place 18 days after they'd already signed the treaty to end the war. They're still fighting, and Andrew Jackson, but just schwack.
And what was the date that they actually ended it?
The Treaty of Ghent. That would be December 24th, Christmas Eve.
1814.
Yeah. Is that my favorite cent? What are you talking about?
No, it's 1815.
Yeah. That's when that's when it took effect.
Yep.
February 16th, 1815.
Yep.
I just happen to know all these dates off the top of my head.
Yeah, you're
going through memory.
Well, that's why. That's
Brilliant.
why when you said it's over, 1814, I was like, nope.
No, they signed it, and then
it
wasn't ratified. You're right.
Yeah.
It wasn't ratified until 1815. So
I just happen to know all these dates,
better than me,
and it might be in this little guide. Right
yeah.
Yes, it is. All right. Well, I'll go last. Number 3 for me is the Battle of Shiloh.
Yes. Civil War.
Yes, April 6, 1862 to April 7th, 1862. Battle of Shiloh was a crucial success for the Union Army led by Grant, and it was in Tennessee, and it allowed Grant to begin a massive operation in the Mississippi Valley later that year. So it was a huge success for him. Mm-hmm. And then another one from the Civil War, Battle of Gettysburg, number 2, July 1st through 3rd, 1863. It stopped the Confederate momentum in the Eastern Theater, and it probably killed any chance of Europe intervening in the war. And it gave the Federals badly needed victory and boosted Northern morale.
Yeah. That's significant.
Yeah.
Lots of...
One battlefield that I really want to go to.
You know, that's where Eisenhower moved when he left the presidency.
I did not.
Yep. He could actually, his house is part of the federal park,
historic
whatever it is,
site or whatever.
No, it's like a not a preserve, but it's like a federal park. It's under the National Park Service.
Yeah.
And his house that he lived in there is part of it. You can visit it, tour it. I'd like to go there. That'd be awesome. I kind of always had the idea of doing because these places aren't that far apart. A lot of the Civil War battle sites, doing like a trip kind of thing.
That would be fun.
Yeah. And Shiloh's on mine was number 3 because, my great aunt lived in Tennessee and we actually visited that battlefield as a kid.
Yeah.
More than once.
You can do this with your kids, and their great uncle Bob, P. Ridge, is 20 minutes from his house.
Oh, we need to go
that battlefield there. Yeah.
I think we got one more summer left there.
There you go.
Or so, maybe. We'll see. And then number 1 is the invasion of Normandy, June 6th, 1944. Yeah, and I didn't know the numbers when I was doing some research on this, but more than 90,000 Allied soldiers were killed or wounded, but their sacrifice allowed more than 100,000 soldiers to begin
taking Europe back.
Yeah, taking
France.
Europe back to defeat Hitler. So, yeah, that's pretty significant.
There's a new movie coming out it's British military for World War II where they. Oh man, I'm gonna have to send you guys this link. It's fascinating. I started digging into the story after I saw the preview, where they dressed up they got a dead body, and they dressed it up as a officer and planted papers on it and literally set it out to a float to get caught by the Germans. Or when they invaded Italy, they were going in through Italy to, kind of come in through France and going through Italy and kind of converge on Germany. Of course, Italy was a Axis. They were the enemy. And, but they planted all this stuff to get them thinking about some invasion that they're going to do somewhere else, and hope that the enemy would take the bait and prep for the secret stuff that they happen to find on some dead body, and hoping that they took it, and they had this big plan that kind of went that way. And they did a lot of that kind of stuff with Normandy as well, like put inflatable tanks. They built them out of fabric and inflated them and made them look like they were staging stuff way over down the other way, where if they were coming across the channel, it'd be a different part, so that they would go fortify all of that and not be where they were going to try to come in at Normandy. But that ought to be a pretty good show. So it's something I'd never heard of before, but it all hinged on them finding a dead body floating in the channel, and then getting all the information off of it, thinking that, oh man, we really came across something here. Let's go stop them. And they actually planted every bit of it.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
All right, man. Those are all good stuff.
Yep.
The old Battle of Midway. You can actually visit the Midway, San Diego.
Oh, the ship named Midway for that battle.
Yep.
That's cool. Aircraft carrier.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I like those. There's an aircraft carrier in Charleston, South Carolina, that houses the Medal of Honor Museum.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, which is pretty neat. Been there. All right.
I think Matt's got our good word for the evening.
Oh, man.
Been waiting for this.
Yeah, because I completely forgot again, even as we were doing the podcast. But in light of Veterans Day.
Yes.
Veterans Day.
What?
Veterans Day.
Veterans Day?
Veterans Day.
He said the short version.
Whatever. He can do what he wants.
Time he figured that out.
But I was kind of struggling with what to bring to the table, I guess, for this good word. And I wanted to tie it into veterans, and kind of what I see is a lot of veterans are, I guess I see a trend with like they're owed something. And so I guess the word of the day for me today is humble. And I guess I'm going to come out of Proverbs 11:12 for this one. It says, when pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with the humble is wisdom. And then it says in 1 Peter 5:5, likewise, you who are younger, be subject to the elders, clothe yourselves, all of you, with humility toward one another, for God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Mm-hmm. And so I think when, all these guys that think they're owed something, I mean, it just leads them down a bad road. Whereas if you humble yourself and think of others as, not necessarily better than you, but greater than yourself, and you focus your effort on helping somebody else or helping others and focusing your attention towards them instead of trying to get it for yourself, that's the way it was meant to be. And you end up better off that way, and you don't have a lot of the issues that I see in the veteran community. So my word of the day today to all veterans who have served would be humble and serve others. Continue just because you're out of the military doesn't mean your service is ended. Continue to serve others. It may not be in the capacity of, carrying a gun and, kicking ass, but
yeah,
humble yourself, be there for others, because you're not all that. There's been millions of people who've done it before you. Millions of people are going to come behind you. You're really nobody special. So treat others greater than yourself. Take care of them.
I like it.
That's
good word.
Just be humble.
Thanks, man.
It's good.
But with that said,
thank you.
We do appreciate your service.
Absolutely.
And this is your day. And for the rest of America, Memorial Day is the day for the fallen. Veterans Day is the day
for those who have served.
For those who have served.
Yep.
So just to clarify that. And I had a really funny joke too, but I completely forgot because.
Well, hey, at least you brought a good word.
Maybe you had a joke. I don't know if it was funny.
It was going to be funny for sure.
Okay.
But I forget.
Yep. Who's bringing us out? I think Matt should.
He won't.
Nope. I saw you first.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Hardheaded Podcast. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. It helps a lot.
Rate and review.
Go to hardheadedpodcast.com and purchase some merchandise. Oh my gosh, we're getting some rave reviews from the merchandise.
This is some killer swag.
We got
some killer merch out there.
We got some more ideas of some future purchases that you may want to make as well. All of them make fun of Matt.
Yep, we got some different designs coming out.
Because Troy and Chet are the ones doing the merchandise store.
That's right.
I have nothing to do with it.
Y'all have a good week.
You know what it was? I just figured it out.
What is it?
So we have November 10th.
Which is the birthday of the Marines.
Yeah, because there were no veterans before the Marines.
I get you. Because the Marines were the first branch of the military ever created.
No, but we're the best, and there just wasn't any veterans before we were created.